Welcome to the DCA Friday podcast, everyone. So glad that you're here listening in. I have a very special guest with us, our very own professional gamer, Yen. I'm going to call it right now. You're going to be a professional gamer. You know, you're going to go MLG, you're going to go in competitions and all that fun shit, man. With me, I have Caleb Chersin. And Caleb is also known as Sudomen on Yen. Caleb, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I've never been interviewed before, so it's gonna be a new experience.
Your first interview, outstanding. So how have you been, man? How have you been?
Good. Just plugging away. Keeping busy, keeping my head down. Just working. I'm really enjoying it. Just writing and doing Twitch, video gaming, and staying involved in crypto and whatnot. So it's a learning experience. I've learned a lot. I've changed a lot over the years. Learned a lot about myself and whatnot. But it's been a really good experience. And I really love doing it. So
that's awesome. So tell me, how did you get into crypto?
I got into crypto. I became aware of crypto a long time ago. About when I graduated, which would have been 2011, a friend of mine said, "Hey, there's this money that you can mine and use it, and there's like a few websites you can use it on." And I'm going like, mine money, like mine gold, like what is this? And he started explaining it to me, and it's like, no, you use your GPU and you mine it, and then you get it and you can send it and whatnot. I'm going, this is kind of weird. So I had just gotten my first computer, so I went ahead and tried he gave me some links on what to download, so I downloaded the stuff and I ran it, and I was trying to figure it out, but you had to, like, at the time you had to use like a command prompt and stuff like that, and I had just gotten a computer, so I had no idea how to use it. And so I was like, after about 20 minutes, I gave it the high school effort, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, you know what? It's got to be illegal, right? Like, because you can't make your own money. Like, that's illegal. This isn't like, nah, let's not do this. So sadly, I gave up on it, and then I pretty much forgot about it for a while. Until another friend of mine reintroduced it to me and was like, "Hey, dude, there's this thing called Bitcoin and stuff like that." And he was showing me like how much it was and like how much had gone up and stuff like that. And I was kind of like looking at it, going like, I could probably buy a couple because like $800. I'm like, I was like, I don't know, like, is it really gonna go up anymore? Like, what is it gonna do? And so I was like, nah, whatever. I forgot about it again, and just ignored it, sadly. And then later on, Bitcoin just came to mind for whatever reason. I was thinking about how to make some extra money, and I knew you could mine it, and it was fairly passive. And so I ran the numbers. This is back when GPU mining was still a thing. I ran the numbers. I was like, well, for about $2,000, I could put a miner together, and based off of the rough math I did, I could probably make my money back in a year. And mind you, I think this was about 2014. And so maybe like 2015, it was. And so I was kind of thinking about it. And I went, nah, I don't know. Like, I have to wait a whole year to get my money back, which is great when you think about investing, right? But I'm like 20, right? I'm just some stupid kid. I have no idea like how good of an investment that is to get $2,000 back in a year, like passively. Like, that's good, even after your electricity costs and stuff like that, and assuming there's no increase in Bitcoin's value. So I threw that off, and then finally, I was watching a YouTube video on Destiny 2 and how to build the cheapest PC that would run it. And this was actually a follow-up video to what this guy had made previously. And he said, I'm making this follow-up video because the graphics card I had said to use, you can't find anymore. And the other ones that you could use in its place are super expensive because Ethereum miners have been buying up all these graphics cards. And I'm going, Ethereum? Like, so I'm like, well, I know you can mine. I heard of mining Bitcoin with GPU. What's this Ethereum? Because I didn't know there was anything else out there. So I looked it up and I realized, oh, there's Ethereum, there's Bitcoin, XRP, and some of the others. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. There's like all these different cryptos and cryptography and blockchain and whatnot. So like, that's pretty cool. And so I started looking into it a little bit more. And then finally, I created a Coinbase account not too long after. And about
when was that?
August 2017, I created my Coinbase account, and I bought a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of Litecoin, and I think I even bought some.
You need to turn the gain up because we can't hear you when you get quiet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or
Sorry
just
about
speak a little bit louder.
Speak louder.
Yeah, one of the two.
I'm trying to speak a little bit louder. So, yeah, I bought, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and I think at some point I bought some Ethereum and whatnot. But that's kind of how I got involved. But I just bought it. I had no idea that there was the quote unquote cryptoverse out there on Twitter and YouTube. I knew nothing about it. Like I knew nothing about, I just done a little bit of research and a kind of a basic understanding of it, but I didn't know what was going on in the market, what's all happening. And so I bought someone held on to it. And this was it weeks later, I think was when the whole Bitcoin Cash, the split and everything like that, and everything dropped down to like 1900 or something like that. And I'm like, why did the price just like tank? I have no idea what's going on. And that's when I started like trying to like look up like news and stuff like that, like what's happening. And so that's when, I kind of, got into crypto. And then not too long later, I ran across Peter, when he was doing bite-sized Bitcoin at the time. I think he still used a green screen, which was like way back.
Wow. You can see the pub in the background.
Yeah, I remember the pub. And then before that, he had like some cityscape. He used this one, occasionally he used like a cityscape background as well. And so, yeah, that was way back.
That was when you found Peter and you've been following him ever since, huh?
Yes, sir. I still remember him recommending buying ant shares, and I never did before it turned into Neo, and I was just like, oh my gosh, wouldn't that one buy?
Dude, awesome. When I found Peter was about May of 2017, and I'd heard about Bitcoin in 2009, but my first thought was, oh no, that's Mark of the Beast money. I'm not going to have a chip put in my hand or in my forehead. No. End times are coming. It's like, and so for the longest time I put it off. And I didn't, that was the mindset and mentality that I had until early 2017. And a buddy of mine said, hey, I'm building something. Do you want in? And I'm like, why, yes, of course. I looked at what he was, shilling, and it was amazing. His team, however, sucked. It's like I should have researched the team better.
Yeah, there's always the caveat. There's always something.
So he's still working and doing his thing, which is pretty cool, in the crypto space. And, we were watching, Bitcoin around like, a grand. And, he's, calling when he's buying, when he's selling and whatnot, and he's making more. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. I'm not into the crypto space yet. I should probably learn about it now that I'm actually, investing in a crypto project. So I actually spent 6 months researching, I'm like, all right, my date, when I'm going to start getting in, I'm actually going to get in January 1st, 2018. That's when I'm going to do it. In the meantime, I'm going to do a bunch of research, learn everything that I can, because I don't want to make a fucking mistake. Which means I lost a lot of fucking opportunity. I lost a shit ton of opportunity.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yep. So, dude, what do you actually do? What's your how do you make your money to purchase crypto? That's not side hustle talk just yet, but I'd love to get there next.
So what I do for my day job is I'm a procurement specialist at a tech company that does a lot of work for schools. So basically what that means is I buy all the equipment that's going to get installed. And so what we install can range from like keypads to like actual servers in the school, to desk phones, to cameras, etc. So anything security related, and we can manage these services for them. So if the school district is smaller, we can go ahead and manage their servers and whatnot. Or if they're a bigger school district, they've got their own IT team, which is fairly common. We'll go ahead and we'll prep everything and get it, and we'll install it. And then their IT team will come over, go ahead and manage it and work on it. But we're basically like a technology curator. Like a customer would come to us and say, hey, we want to do this application, this is what we want to execute, this is what we're looking to do. And then we go and look and say, okay, this is what's available, these are all the tools, this is the tools that play nice together, and they can work together. We'll curate it, we'll put it together, and we'll go, okay, here's our quote, this is what we can that you're looking for. So
I couldn't hear you for a quick second there. You got really
I'm sorry.
nice and quiet.
Sorry. Uh, so we
So,
basically
what
just
I'm gathering though is that it seems like you guys keep the schools safe.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. We need you out where my kids are at.
Yeah, yeah,
Keep them safe.
we're mainly in the northwest here, like Washington, a little bit in California and Idaho and whatnot.
Outstanding.
But
So,
yeah, we're
has
expanding.
any of that helped with your side hustle? Knowing all these equipment things and how to hook them up, I would
Uh-huh.
assume would be a great tool for what you're currently doing, getting into gaming.
Not specifically like so. What I've done isn't necessarily the real technical side, more of the support side of getting stuff uh, involved. But really what it has done for me as far as like supporting my other stuff is really just provided me with a good job because where I live there's just not a lot of good quality stuff, and so being able to be in the tech industry in a growing industry like this has done well to support me financially, because it's really hard to make money where I'm at, and so I'm very thankful for what I have. um but from a technical standpoint, I'd say it hasn't helped me too much. But I've always been a nerd, and I'm always trying to figure things out and whatnot. So YouTube is a great help.
I totally agree. I could learn how to fix a car watching YouTube.
I know you. As some people
I
say,
could learn how to perform surgery watching YouTube.
I wouldn't recommend using those videos.
I wouldn't either. If anybody decides to get plastic surgery and they wanted to have their buddy do it by watching YouTube videos, please don't.
I've got 40 hours on Surgeon Simulator. I got this, guys.
Oh man. So tell me what let's go ahead and jump into your side hustle here.
Mhm.
What made you decide that you wanted to get into gaming, and how has that been going for you, and what are the challenges that you've been facing?
Well, the reason why I wanted to get into like do Twitch and whatnot is because I'm a gamer. I'm playing games anyways, and it's like, you know what? I might as well uh, broadcast this. I might as well share it with other people and try to build a community around it, because really my other side hustle with like writing books and stuff like that, you really have to engage with people want to know you and see you. You have to build kind of that relationship there. And I thought, well, you know what, I like video games, I enjoy playing them, I can go ahead and start showing that and just trying to interact with people and build a community around them, around that, and share that. And it's really been good for me to just grow out of my shell, because I'm naturally kind of uh I just forgot the word. Not an extrovert, an introvert. That's what I'm looking for. I'm
Okay, so you're shy.
yeah, I'm naturally introverted. I mean, like just even like a year ago, like I would have never thought of wanting to do streaming. I would have never, if you would have asked me a year ago to do this interview, I would have just said no. Like I would not have done it. Even now, like I almost hesitated, coming on and stuff like that. I'm naturally shy from that stuff. Even now, like I'm always a little bit nervous and stuff like that, trying to make sure that I can actually speak straight and not forget my words, like introvert and extrovert.
Dude, not to worry, not to worry. You're talking to the choir here. You're preaching to the choir. Believe it or not, I was not as outgoing as I am now. My mother actually described me to one of her friends as one of the shyest introverts she had ever met in her entire life. It's just, uh, you know, collecting retirement right now. She's like in her 60s. So, that's a lot of years to say, "Oh, this person right here is the shyest person I've ever met. It's like, thanks, mom.
Met a lot of people.
But that's who I was. That's who I was. Very, very quiet, very shy, very introverted. And it took going into the military and a divorce to get me to break out of that shell.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I think Twitch has really kind of helped me with that. Is to just open up, because I don't naturally want to be that way, and so I think it's helped me a lot to open up and be able to engage with people.
That's outstanding. I never would have guessed it based on our interactions on Yen, and here even before we started recording. Like this guy's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, I've changed a lot. It's been a good experiment. It's been a good positive pressure to force me to grow, and so.
Nice. Yeah, I was saying in the interview that I was doing last night, there's something that we learn about in security, like when in a defensive position, like if you're, put in a defensive position, the best form of defense is constant forward pressure, and, it was during the interview last night that I realized that, constant forward pressure can be applied in all sorts of facets in life, and you can survive or thrive, based on what kind of pressure you're putting on, your projects, or what kind of pressure your projects are putting on you. And so long as you keep on moving forward, you're going to learn something.
Yeah, that's so true, because I mean, in life there's always going to be things coming at you, right? But if you decide to move forward, then as you're moving forward, other things are hitting you and they have to respond to you, even though you may have to respond to things incoming. If you're constantly moving, then you're forcing other people to make decisions. And I really do apply that, like even like when it's something as silly as playing on Twitch. When I'm playing video games, I try to play aggressive and I try to push, because what that does is it forces the other players to respond to my maneuver, versus me waiting for them to make the move. I'll make the first move and force them to adapt to that. Because, I may make a move and I may walk into a room and get shot in the back because I didn't know someone was there. But so it may not always turn out right. But if I'm always pushing, always moving forward, then everyone else has to respond to what I just did. So I can maintain control of the situation to the best of my ability, rather than just responding, instead of just hiding in a corner and responding to whatever comes across my path, and, and get surprised. If I'm pushing forward, I'm controlling at least a little bit of the situation.
I love it. Adapt and overcome, it's like, hey, I'm going forward. I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm going forward. You shoot whoever comes after me. It's a legitimate strategy in a video game.
So, yeah.
Let's talk about, some of the challenges that you had to face and overcome, or some of the challenges that you're still facing as a gamer trying to build an audience.
Well, first, obviously is the technical, just learning how to hook everything up. I mean, it took me like 2 weeks just to figure out how to get my audio to work. Like I was having so much problem just figuring out like gain and putting like stops on stuff, so that way like loud noises in the background don't come through and whatnot.
I noticed that beautiful, stuff you got in the back.
Yep, that helps a lot. Oh, so, just overcoming the technical aspects to get, everything synced up and working and looking right, to just being able to be comfortable on camera, to, and just be able to play, and then just also developing, I don't want to say like developing a personality, but just like being someone that people might want to engage with and be around, because it's when you're just playing a video game by yourself, it's easy just to be focused, just on the game and whatnot. But being able to be someone who's approachable in a stream, if that makes sense, approachable while playing. And so just trying to develop my personality and whatnot has been always interesting. And so I'd say that's a struggle, and I'd say I'm still working on it. I haven't found it. I haven't mastered it, but I have been doing it, for 6 months or so. And so, I'm learning. I feel like I'm progressing. So that's definitely good, but I definitely have a long road to go as far as that.
Well, I will tell you right now that, I haven't had a chance to actually watch you, live stream on Twitch or anything like that, like watch a full game. But since the last time that we talked, in the Yen, messenger chat and whatnot, it was like, hey, why aren't you putting this stuff on YouTube? And you were like, I need to put it on YouTube. It's like, dude, I've been watching every single one of them.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it never really occurred to me, because like what I was thinking is I'll just upload the videos to Yen, but I realized you couldn't do that because obviously it's in beta and the storage space, it's not practical. So that feature's not there. So I was like, well, I'll start uploading clips when, eventually there's a full launch and it'll support video and whatnot. But then I was like, after talking with you, I was like, well, I could just upload it to YouTube and then just link it over, like everyone else does. And I was like, I don't know why that didn't occur to me, but that makes perfect sense. And so I was like, thanks, thanks for this talk. And so I'll go ahead and do that. And so now I've been to go ahead and uploading them all to Yen.
Mm-hmm. How has that been doing for you? I know that when you post it, I'm usually the first one to watch it. So I don't see those numbers. And I don't know. How have your subscribers started growing since you started uploading to YouTube? Has that helped at all yet, or are you still working on gaining that audience?
So it hasn't. I haven't grown many subscribers on YouTube, and I know a few people have followed me on Twitch since then, so that's good. And on Yen itself, I'll get a couple of likes and whatnot, and you've commented a couple times, but it hasn't grown a whole bunch. So I'm just, obviously it's my first time around, first time at life, so I'm still trying to figure out how to do it all. But it's been good, and I think it'll be good. I just need to be consistent. I think that's the biggest thing. That's what I've learned from other people. You got to be consistent. You got to be willing to commit to like a year or more to do something. Otherwise, you can't and expect things to get better. Because like I've looked at guys who say like, this is like my follower count, stuff like that, and it just kind of sat there for like the first year, and then it starts to just go up exponentially over time. And so it's really just a matter of consistency.
Absolutely. And I have noticed that you post something like every day. So that's going to definitely pay off a lot quicker than somebody who posts something like once a week. Like I know my podcast, I'm it's DCA Friday. I upload on Fridays,
Yeah.
But, when it comes to Drive with Mike and Peter, their new podcast, they're uploading every day, and, their growth is exponential compared to what ours is, those of us who only upload once a week, and a lot of other things go into it as well. Like currently I don't have an intro. I was working on an intro, and, I'm still working on creating, that myself, and then having a professional actually render it for me, because, this isn't exactly a singing microphone, and the intro that I chose isn't exactly something that requires singing. So, I don't want to share what I'm creating, but let me just tell you, when I just do like for instance, DCA Friday, and, that's not what it is, but there's not a whole lot of talent and singing involved in that. But, I can at least put together a demo of something that I kind of want and send that to a professional and say, hey, make this better.
Make this good. Yep, I hear you.
Make this not suck.
That's funny.
But the people that I'm looking at, they're charging like $200, $150 to $200 just to have something like that created. And what I need is multiple voices. So if I send it to one artist, after I get that done, I need to send it to another and have an input on, their voice on it as well.
Yeah.
It's a process, not just with the art for, what I've been, designing and creating for my brands, but also for the podcast itself. I need an intro and an outro, because let's just face it, I'm currently not using OBS. I'm just using Zoom. But I know how to, put Zoom into OBS and all that stuff. But I need an intro and an outro, and then, all of the different flashy stuff and whatnot. Because, if you look at the video quality on, Drive with Mike and Peter, Peter's got this thing down, and he said, Mike, you need to learn it. So it looks phenomenal, So building up to that point has been a slower process, because my priority's been the designs. It's like, okay, I need to build on all fronts, and so that's been a very slow process for me as well. So I totally get it.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
Yeah. Constant forward pressure, always moving.
Nothing great happens in a day. So
no. Nothing great happens a day. All right, so. Real quick, what is it about crypto that actually sucked you in? And what are you excited for looking into the future?
If I had to be honest, I'd say at the start, it was the potential for gains, right? The money aspect.
That's what sucked me in to the my buddy's project. I'm like, so if I give you X number of money, I can have a node, and that node will crank out how many coins a minute? Okay, and I get to keep I think it was like 66% of it or 33%. I forget. It was like 2/3 to 1/3. I forget who gets what. But basically, I would take that math and be like, okay, so if I kept 33% of X number of coins, and then I'm just watching it. I'm like, money, 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 money. I'm like, yes. So I'll admit it. Gains, money. That's what gets most people into crypto. It got me into it as well.
Yeah. So the games got me in, and but what I've learned over time about the blockchain and decentralization, and just the utility of being able to send money internationally, to send it fast, send it cheap, and then to you've got Ethereum and other platforms that can do smart contracts. So to be able to simplify the process of doing things, because a lot of our old systems are pretty archaic, and it can take a lot of money and resources just to get together a simple contract. Whereas, Ethereum has shown that you can execute a contract super fast and everything's good to go. I mean, so that time, being able to take the amount of time and money and push that down, there's value in that, right? Because every time we become more efficient at something, it allows us to essentially take the difference in that efficiency and extract that as value for ourselves. Like you can take rocks, they have zero value, but the Romans pulled it out of the mountain, sanded them down, and laid them next to each other, created roads. So now people can move between cities faster. That being able to move goods and services faster allowed for growth. So the rocks had no value until they made them into something that was valuable. And now we're benefiting the difference of that.
I love that you use something as useless as rocks as a perfect example. I'm like, you're right. Rocks have no value until you build something out of it. Whether it's a road or whether it's a dadgum, a house.
Yeah, and no wealth was stolen during it. It was just rocks in a mountain. You pull it out and you work with it and put it down, and then it benefits everyone. And so you're seeing the same thing with Bitcoin and blockchain. You've got these infrastructures that that is there. You've got the internet, and it's like, okay, how do we use that to create value now? And so we're seeing that with Bitcoin and smart contracts and whatnot, and it's making things more efficient. And the difference between how much it cost before versus how much it's going to cost in the future as we implement blockchain more, that difference is value, and we can extract that, and it's going to benefit everyone. So that's what I'm excited about moving forward as crypto takes over the world.
So is there a niche specifically that you're really excited about? Like I would assume you'd be really excited about blockchain and gaming. That's just me.
I think that's going to be really, really cool. I think being able to transfer items between games is really interesting. I think we're pretty far out for that because there's a couple technical hurdles that would have to be overcome that are pretty significant. Because I know Engine Coin, you're supposed to be able to move items from different games and whatnot. But when you try to bring that into the mainstream, it's how does that work? Because every game is different. The engine that powers it's different. The graphics are different. Things have to be rendered and whatnot. So it gets a little bit more complex. But I've thought out a couple ways that it would work. But I definitely think within 10 years, we're going to see blockchain integrated into gaming a lot more. And it's going to be pretty cool to be able to earn something in a game in one game. And then when game number 2 or 3 of that comes out, it's well, you can go ahead and transfer the item you earned in the first game into the third game, even though you can't earn it in the game because it's not something that's unlockable, but you can go ahead and just transfer it over and have access to it.
You mean that you'd be able to transfer a legendary item from game 1 into game 3 and start out at game 3 with legendary items as a noob? That's amazing.
I think that, or, if anything, at least cosmetics and whatnot, what things that you can earn, skins, because let's just take Call of Duty, for example. You can earn a skin for your guns. It's called dark matter. It takes some 50 hours to do everything to unlock it. Well, you've unlocked in one game. When the next one comes out, you don't have it anymore. And a lot of times the skin itself looks different from game to game. But with blockchain, it'd be well, you liked dark matter in, Black Ops 1. Well, you can go ahead and bring it into Black Ops 4 and use that skin because it's not even earnable in Black Ops 4. you can't even get it. But because of blockchain, you can go and just import it into the game, and then now you can put it on your guns.
I like
So
it.
I definitely see the use cases there. But I think we're pretty far out from like mainstream, Activision and whatnot actually implementing it into their games. But when they do, because eventually I think they will, when they do, I think it'll be pretty cool what we'll be able to do with stuff like that. Because it allows you to, because I mean, a lot of people spend lots of hours unlocking this stuff, to working towards this stuff, and the next game comes out, you all of that progress that you've done is gone essentially, right? You can't really transfer it. But with blockchain, I think you're going to be able to transfer those type of items to the next game. And it also creates brand loyalty, because if it's like I've been playing this game, Call of Duty for like 10 years, and I can keep bringing the stuff that I've earned, into the next games. I'm incentivized to buy the next game. Why? Because everything I've worked for so far and that I've earned, I can bring with me. So I have brand loyalty, and I think when big corporations realize the loyalty that'll be brought with it for you to be able to transfer things forward, I think they're going to start looking more seriously.
I love it. Now, for me personally, I haven't seen the value of skins at all. It's like, why would I purchase a skin if all it's going to do is change what I look like and not actually give me any new abilities or tactical advantage in something, but that's just me. I haven't done a whole lot of research into, does this skin give me expert, better health or expert aiming or I don't know what the hell, It's just like looking at things like Call of Duty or Destiny, I just avoid the skins altogether. It's like, I'd rather get the better things.
I would agree. Like, skins aren't a big. I mean, they're fairly. I like them, and it's fun to pursue them and stuff like that. But it's not like I'm not dropping
lots of money for them.
I mean, yeah, Fortnite proves. I mean, Fortnite, it's free to play. You can buy the skins in their battle pass, and the battle pass essentially just allows you to unlock skins as you rank up the battle pass. And I forgot what it was, but I think they're one of the. I don't know what year it was. If it was this year, but their quarter 1 earnings was like $100 million or something like that. So it's like $33 million a month on a game that's technically free. So it's like they're just raking in the dough. It's all just skins.
Yes, they are. They are a completely useless item, and people are paying for them.
Yeah,
they're reaping the benefit. But if you have a particular skin that you absolutely fell in love with, then you can bring it into the next game. That is incentive to buy the next game. I think you're right. So, what is your strategy when it comes to investing? Are you a day trader, or are you a hodler, or I mean, what all goes into your choices and picks when it comes to crypto?
Well, I started out as a swing trader until I got wrecked. And then that turned me into a DCA Friday.
Yes. It turned us into DCAers.
I remember, so I used to try to swing trade that obviously did not work out, but it was end of 2017 would it have been, where I think Peter talked about DCAing ICX and ADA, and then I think also IOTA. I'm pretty sure that was the end of 2017. It was like the December 29th or something like that. And so I was listening, I'm pretty sure it was a stream, and I was listening to him talk about what he's going to do and whatnot. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do that. Instead of trying to do what I've been doing in the past, I'm just going to go ahead, take, X amount of money, and I'll put it into a coin, which was ICX. And I'm just going to buy every single week. And I did that for 52 weeks. And so that was the smartest move I ever made.
I will say that I'm very much a dollar cost average kind of guy. It's a smart, smooth, and type of investing strategy. I don't have time to be a day trader, just stay in front of my computer, do nothing but watch the damn charts. I don't have time for that.
You can easily lose your money, and it really makes you subject unto other people, because then the markets, you're trying to time the markets, right? And it's always like, oh, what news happened, and there was a hack and whatnot, and everything's going up and down. So your trading ability is beholden to what's going on, what other people are doing. But when you DCA, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the news is. It doesn't matter what someone else does. It doesn't matter who got hacked. You're just buying. Things go down, you're getting more. Things go up, your portfolio is worth more. You kind of you take control. I think you take control again of your finances, because you're not trying to chase this magical number. You're just consistent, and it allows you to maintain control instead of always being worried about what's going to happen in the market. You think, oh, it's going to go up, so I'm going to go ahead and long Bitcoin, and then something happens and the market crashes, and then you lose a bunch of money. So what someone else did then comes back and affects you. You kind of lose control.
I think that day traders might disagree with you, but then they might disagree with me too. But no, it's like I get exactly what you're saying. Like, it doesn't matter if there was some news or if there was a hack.
Mm-hmm.
So long as we're diligently putting money into what we believe is a good, solid project, we're going to reap the rewards, and it's going to be less risky to us because we didn't drop $5,200 at the all-time highs.
Yep.
Or, and then, somebody would say, well, you didn't drop 5,200 at all-time lows either. It's like, yeah, well, when you dollar cost average, you average a good solid position somewhere in a project that you know is actually worth something. And if you find out sometime later down the road that it's actually a shit project, like Ripple, then
it's another form of cash.
Well, I'm gonna go there in a second. But if you find out that it's a shit project, you can stop DCAing, and your losses are minimal. Yep. I mean, your investment is minimal, and you could cash out of that and put it into a more solid project. So what? Yep. There's no adrenaline fear spike going on. No matter what's happening. I think statistically speaking, they were saying that stock traders in like the 90s and early 2000s would have a very short lifespan because the stress would give them heart attacks.
Oh yeah,
they'd be dying at 40. It's like, that's not for me. It's only 4 years away. I'm good.
Yeah, it's like you only have so much emotional energy, right? You can only spend your energy on so much stuff, and so it's like, do you really want to let? I mean, money is important to an extent, but it's like, do you really want it to let it just consume all of your emotional energy? Because then you can't do other stuff that you want to do. And so being DCAing allows you to be able to disconnect to an extent emotionally and not just get consumed, with it. So I think it's just, that's important, because then you get more, more out of life rather than just being so fixated. On the money aspect. It's important to focus on it enough so that way you can then increase your value, so that way you can get what you want out of life. But if that increasing of value consumes you to the point where you don't have a life anymore, you've kind of lost the game to begin with.
To a degree, I agree with you, because if you're consumed constantly with just looking at the charts, making sure you're buying, selling it at the right time, you're not using your time to work productively or creatively in other aspects that could be fulfilling or even profitable for your life.
Totally agree.
So, and that's one of the reasons why, I was like, what, in DCA Friday, I need to start a series called the Yenizen's Hustle. Let's talk about people's side hustle. Let's talk about what you're building, what you're creating, and for you, I'm very excited to see where you're going to be heading. You constantly put out content on YouTube and on Twitch, streaming your games. I could totally see you going places, man. I'm very excited to see where that takes you. And with Yen, I think that the possibilities are limited to how creative you can be. So. But going back real quick, the reason I harp on Ripple is because I don't ever want to invest in a coin that tries to appeal to institutions that, say, you know what, that's a great idea, but we're not going to hire you. We're going to do it ourselves and create JPM coin or something else. It's like, Ripple's trying to appeal to the banks, and the banks are like, why do we need you?
Yeah. Why don't we just do it ourselves?
Exactly. So for me personally, I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's the thing. It seems like they could easily put themselves out of the market. They could easily, because once they develop it, anyone else can come along and go, oh, yeah, we'll just me and my banker buddies, we'll go ahead and we'll do the same thing.
We'll do the same thing, and we'll just change one little thing or two little things in the algorithm or the software. That way you can't sue us saying that we, stole your shit. We could increase the timing or increase the block size or increase this or increase that or, or decrease something. It doesn't fucking matter. So long as you gave them the roadmap, whether it's a cobblestone road or a brick road or a freaking tar, it doesn't matter. It's still a freaking road. You're going to sue them because they built a road?
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how Ripple fares or XRP fares in the future. But that's my greatest fear. I think that at some point the rug's gonna get pulled out from right underneath them, and they're gonna go down. But we'll see.
We'll see. We'll definitely see. All right. So let's move on away from Ripple because I don't like talking about them. What have you learned about your what you're trying to create as your side hustle? Like was it as easy as you thought, or has it shown you that it's going to be a long hard road? Becoming a active gamer streamer person. What is it actually named for?
I think streamer is what a streamer.
Okay,
what you'd call me.
So what have you learned as far as the hurdles, or as far as things that you learned that are like easier than you thought they would be? Tell me about what it is in being a streamer that has changed what you thought of originally.
It's more work than you might imagine. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to play video games and it's great and stuff like that and it's all going to be fun. But it is I don't know what you want to say, just like it takes more energy, I guess, than you might think to set things up, initially, and then even like every single night getting ready, getting things going and doing it and playing and being on. It does take a lot more energy than I imagined. But also as far as like what's easier, there was always like hurdles to go over, but there was never anything that I was like totally like stumped, like I can't do this. So I think it's really something that anyone can really do, especially if you grow up, if you're younger, you up with technology, and so it's going to be super easy for you. But I think actually getting from the technical standpoint, getting from where I am was definitely hurdles, but was easier than what I kind of anticipated it to be. As far as what's more difficult, I think it takes way more energy than I imagined. So
all right. So what is your goal in being a streamer? What is your goal?
My goal in being able to stream is really just to be able to connect with people, because like I said, I'm kind of introverted by naturally, and so the idea is that to be able to get out of my shell, to break out, and to put my face out there, to be visible, and be okay with that, and then hopefully build up a community around myself, and then be able to first of all provide value to them, so that way they'll want to provide value to me. That's any good transaction, that's how it works. And I'll have to, if I don't have an audience, it's because I'm not bringing value to them, which I basically don't have an audience. So I have to learn how to give value, and then I can hopefully get value in return. But I hope to build a community where I can bring value to people and engage with people and be visible. So that's kind of my goal.
Well, I'll say one thing's for sure. It's like I love watching you play. It's only like a 30-second snippet. I think one of these days you need to put out like a full stream on YouTube. Like just straight up record the whole damn thing, just put it on YouTube and just let people watch
the whole thing. I'll have to do that. I'll have to do it,
because I'll tell you one thing. I know nothing about the new Call of Duties. Like ever since I think the last one that I got was like Modern Warfare 3. Okay. I'm like way behind the times. I stopped playing Halo at like Halo 4. And then a buddy of mine was trying to get me back into games, and so I tried Destiny 2, and I was using the strategies that he had shown me on his streaming and his YouTube tutorials. There's an idea, tutorials. Why not? And then it just trying to implement with that. I was able to see my growth in the game grow exponentially faster than what it normally would have been, because he's like, hey, go here and just start farming. I'm like, what's farming? You farm in Destiny? What?
I don't want to plant corn. Like, I don't want to do this. This is not why I bought a video game.
This sounds stupid. It's like, no, trust me. You just go in this area, kill everybody, get all the goods, leave. When it resets, go back in, kill everybody again. That's farming. I'm like, oh, okay.
I can do that.
Yeah, and I was able to level up like exponentially well. So when I went on to the first mission, I'd already done like 20 levels of farming. So it's like I went on the first mission. It's like, oh, this game's so easy. I'd already built up the legendary weapons before I went on the first mission.
Oh, that's funny.
So I would love to see not only like a full gameplay, but shoot, maybe tutorials, man. Maybe you should look at that.
That's a good idea. Maybe I'll look at trying to put some stuff together, and just as far as like tactics and what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking going into fights, and explaining what I'm doing and why I'm doing it.
Absolutely, you could do like the commentary. Like you could do the in-game game stuff. And then you could put another layer on top of it. Actually watch the game. And then do the commentary. It's like, okay, so right here, this has just happened, whatnot. So I was thinking that I needed to do this, but he ended up doing that. And so I handled this that way. Blah 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 blah. Just commentary on it. It's like, why not?
I think that's a good idea. I'll have to look at doing that, because I think I've got software to do it. It's like it's a hit film or something like that. You can go ahead and it's kind of like a free version of Premiere Pro, and I can just pull clips into that. And
hold on, what was the name of that software? Because Adobe Premiere Pro is trying to give me a hard time, and Adobe is going to freaking go after you. What was the name of that software?
Hit Film Express. So just HIT Film Express is what I can probably pull it up.
Hit Film Express.
Yeah, Hit Film Express. I do have it on my computer. So yeah, it's just free. I think there's a paid version of it as well. But the free version basically has pretty much all you'll.
All right, that's outstanding. All right, so let's move on. I know that I want to be cognizant of your time, because we did start the interview late. And that was my fault.
No problem. Hey, life happens.
Yes, it does. All right. So for somebody who wants to do what you're doing, like they want to become a live streamer as well. I know that you're just starting out in your journey. What advice and what tips would you give to somebody that wants to do it like you do? Like what would you tell somebody who says, hey, you know what? I think I could do that too. And you're like, okay, well, be aware. Go.
This is what happened. Start. That's the biggest thing. I think you do want to learn, so that way you're gonna need to learn a few basics. Like you can just go on YouTube and say, how to set up a stream. Like you just need to watch like one video on how to set up a stream and then just go do it. That'll be the biggest thing, because if you're like trying to figure out like how to do this and whatnot, and like what's the best microphone, what's the best camera, how do what should I buy this, what should I do that, it's never going to happen. The best thing you can do is just start, and as you're doing it, you're going to learn. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just go ahead and start. And there's tons of resources on YouTube, like Alpha Gaming and whatnot. You can just and then like gaming careers, you can just look them up, watch some videos, and go ahead and execute. All you'll need is a computer, and OBS is free. So as long as you got a computer that can stream, you can do that. If you're going to play on console like I do, you'll need to get like an Elgato recorder to do it. But you just need a couple things, and just jump in there and start doing it. And that'll be the best thing, because that's when you're really going to learn what you need to get better at and what you need to actually do. Because you can watch all the videos you want, but at the end of the day, until you start doing it, you're not going to realize what your specific situation, what you need to do and what you need to get better at and what's important. So, just starting And I think that's the biggest thing in life in general, because like even like I started, working out and stuff like that, about 2 years ago. And that was the biggest thing, is that I procrastinated for a long time, because it's like, oh, how do you do this? What do you do that? What do you eat? What do you, all this kind of stuff. Like, yes, there's what you should do, but unless you start, you're not really going to learn. And so you just got to get going. And once you do, then you can kind of flesh out the details, get better and better, because the goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to get better.
Outstanding. So what do you say to people who are discouraged about getting into crypto?
I would say if they're discouraged,
or just like, yeah, I don't know, it's like, what do you tell people?
I just be like, you just need to buy a little bit. You just need to just buy a little bit and just experience it. Try it out, get some, hold on to it, and your perception will change, I think, over time, because a lot of people it's foreign, so it's unknown to them. Anything that's unknown to people are going to be afraid of. So I think the biggest step is to making it less unknown to yourself. And so if they, create an account with Coinbase and buy some, and send it to a private wallet, and once they realize how they can send it and how it works, it's less foreign. They start understanding the basics of it, and they're going to become less skeptical of what it is, because they can see what it is. So I think that's what I would say to people who are skeptical about it. Just dip your toes in it, to begin with.
I like it. Just dip your toes in. Just test the waters. I did a very similar thing with a buddy at work. I actually told him, hey, conduct an experiment. All right, let's do an experiment together. Okay, let's say you have like whatever's left over from your paycheck, you put into savings, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so why don't do this? Whatever you put into savings, put into Bitcoin. So if you only have like $20 left, put $10 into savings, $10 into Bitcoin, and see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Do it diligently every paycheck for the next, while, and you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
You'll figure it out and you'll learn.
Yep, that's great advice.
and he's been loving it. He's been loving it. So, excellent. Where can people find you on your streaming service, your streaming platform?
So you can find me on twitch.tv/Sudomen. So it's SODUMEN. And then you can also obviously find me on Twitter, the same username. You can find me on YouTube under the same username. And then also Yen, if you are on Yen, you can just go ahead and search at Sudomen, and you'll be there on Yen.
Go ahead and spell that for them.
SODUMEN. I'm sorry. I think I just.
I think you did.
I think I just flipped it. I am also dyslexic. If I ever have to do any number, if I ever have to speak any numbers, I will put them backwards. So it's SUDOMEN. I apologize.
No worries. I have a brother who's also got a similar situation. So I get it. For me personally, my numbers are 8s and 3s. Uh-huh. I'll flip them. I got a couple letters that way too, but it's not full on words. I'll just get them all mixed up.
You're better than me, because I'll mix up all my numbers. Which isn't good, because at work I use numbers all the time with buying and whatnot. I have numbers all the time, so I have to be really careful that I don't type in the wrong price and whatnot.
Do you double or triple check?
I double check. I do a double take and make sure that I did it right, because I'll put the wrong numbers in there every once in a while. So it's never been an issue. I've never messed anything up, but I definitely have to double check.
All right.
Accounting will not be my career choice.
You would be great with the mob. You'd never find where they're hiding the money.
That's funny.
Oh shit. So I know that you're in the Lamborghini group as well, right?
Yep.
what are you looking forward to the most when it comes to this new update that's coming on Yen? I mean, have you already invited some people?
I have invited some people. I've invited some, and my brother actually signed up today. So he's
Nice.
on there. He's on there right now. So he's pretty excited about it. Um, but as far as the upcoming update, I've only did because I know Peter has set out some links, right? Because I know I've heard about the update, and I know there's supposed to be a UI change. But did he actually do a video to break that down? Because I must have missed it then.
I think in one of the streams he had accidentally shown part of his screen during something. So
Uh-huh.
and then in the behind the scenes with the DCTV correspondence, we've seen some behind the scenes stuff. And then those who actually went to San Francisco, they got to see even more. So
Mhm. I wish
my
I could have
level of
gone.
understanding is very limited. It's like mid tier.
Uh-huh.
Those who went to San Francisco, high tier of understanding what's going on. Those who might be paying attention to the stream might have a down here. I'm like right there in the middle. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm,
From what I've heard, people are really excited about it. It sounds like it's going to be good, and so I'm definitely looking forward to it. I can't wait to see the next iteration because I mean, you just look at how it's progressed over time; it's in leaps and bounds, and so I'm excited to see what Peter has next.
absolutely. Hey, what did you tell your brother to get him to say, all right, yeah, I'm gonna jump in on this?
Well,
Because
it's funny.
I still haven't gotten my brothers on it. They don't want to join.
It's funny because both of my brothers were actually gotten involved in crypto not too long after I did. So he's already the one brother who joined. He's already been in crypto, so it actually wasn't too hard to convince him to create an account. Because I just told him like, hey, dude, I joined this beta program, on yen.io, and you can buy and sell super easy, and it's kind of like a Twitter, it's a social media. You should join. And he's like, oh, that kind of sounds cool. And so I sent him my invite code, and he went and signed up.
Nice. Yeah, I managed to get one of my brothers into crypto a lot earlier than everybody else in my family. And I asked him if he'd be interested in joining the beta, and he's like, no, not right now. And I can understand why. He just got hired to work for NASA.
Oh, he's a little busy.
He's a little busy. It's like, hey, you know what? Everybody in the family is proud of you, bro.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't work like directly for NASA, but he works with NASA and it helps with their some projects of theirs. So not a whole lot that he can go into. I mean, I could elaborate a little bit, but he doesn't want to be in the spotlight too much. So
Fair enough.
love you, bro. I doubt he'll watch this episode. He's too busy. But I did help set one of my other brothers up with the Coinbase account and got him set up with that, and let him be to his own devices to figure that out. And then my dad, I helped him set up a Coinbase account and a KuCoin account, and so got him into a position or two, and so my dad's still very much learning how to use Coinbase and all this different stuff. But it's like it's interesting to see that the most technically advanced person I've known in my life, his technical knowledge is going down. So it's like, well, Dad, this is one of the reasons why we're creating Yen is so people like you can join in and be like, this is easy.
Uh-huh. Yeah. If you can use Twitter, you can use Facebook, then you can use Yen.
There you go. And on that note, let's go ahead and wrap this up real quick. For those of you who are listening and stayed to the very end, I want to share with you guys my invite code. You can go to the sign up page at beta.yen.io, use my invite code, capital YEN 59, capital I, lowercase NVIT3. And you guys can join up on Yen, test it out, kick the tires, tell us what you like, what you don't like, what breaks, check out the frequently asked questions, and definitely have some fun learning how to use this, social platform that's going to change the game when it comes to crypto and investing. So any final words, Caleb? I'm gonna let you have it.
Thanks for bringing me on. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your time. This has been fun. It's totally new experience for me. I'm glad I did it, and glad you allowed me to. And just thank you very much.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'd love to have you on again. We'll find
Let's
out
do it.
how everything's going for you, man. All
Yeah,
right. I'll see you in Yen. Everybody else, I'll see you there as well. Take care.
sounds good.